So this boy killed his mother and then buried her in a shallow grave in their backyard. When he was confronted, it turned out that his mother was not the only family member he had killed. Around the 4th of December 2023, a young man named Somadina Orji was said to have physically attacked his mother in their home in Enugu State, where after he beat her up, proceeded to strangle her and then went on to bury her in a shallow grave at their backyard. And the reason he did this will shock you. You see, according to people who knew Somadina, he was described as a drug addict and a very violent person. And on the day of this incident, it was said that he wanted to beat his younger brother, whose name was not mentioned or given. While he was fighting with his younger brother, their mother, Charity Orji, stood between them, even holding Somadina back and going as far as sending him out of the house because she did not want him to beat up his younger brother. Obviously, Somadina left the house and went out. And as a drug addict, it's possible that he had gone to smoke or do drugs or taking something. By the time the fight was done, Somadina came back home and realized that his younger brother was not around and that it was only his mother, Charity, that was around. It's not clear what happened. It's possible that the fight started again, or it's possible that the mother confronted him again over something that she has most likely been complaining about. However, it was also possible that Somadina saw this as an opportunity to get back at his mother for preventing him from beating their younger one. Soon afterwards, it was believed that he and his mother started exchanging words, and being the hot-headed, violent person that he was, he pounced on her, beat her up, strangled her, and when she had died, he dragged her body to the backyard where he dug a shallow grave and buried her there. By the time his younger brother came back from where he went to, the younger brother noticed that their mother was not around, and when the younger brother was asking him questions, he could not provide answers. It's also possible that the younger brother knew what Somadina was capable of and decided to inform the villagers, and decided to inform the community youths. He decided to raise alarm that he believed something had happened to their mother because there was a fight earlier that day, and by the time he came home, only Somadina, who should be home with their mother, was at home. And that was when the community people decided to question him because they knew his violent nature. They knew he's capable of doing something to the mother, given that there was a fight earlier that day.
Anya, ihe obu n'aka na abụ nwanne ya nwaanyị o bukwara egbu. Onye hụrụ since June ka a na-achọ the person na-achọ. Anya ka o buru ihe a, na isi ya ihe a o bu.
And it was during this interrogation that Somadina confessed he had killed Charity Orji, his mother, and had buried her in a shallow grave at their backyard. This confession sparked outrage. In fact, more people gathered. He was forced to go and exhume his mother's body from where he had buried her, which he did. However, during this process, someone just thought to ask him a question about one of his siblings, his sister, who was said to have gone missing in June of 2023 to be precise. The missing sister, who was named as Ukamaka Orji, was said to have disappeared in June. This was Somadina's, most likely his older sister or his younger sister, it's not clear, but it might have been his older sister. It was said that Ukamaka went missing and no one saw her and no one knew where she went. Since June of 2023, a lot of people speculated she ran away from home. Some said she ran away with a man. Some said she had gone to the city. Some said that she most likely would return whenever she felt like, citing that she's a grown-up and an adult. So they didn't think too much of it. Although there were people who speculated that Ukamaka must have been killed or kidnapped or used for rituals. But no one really thought much of it. She just did not come back and no one suspected anything or anyone. However, when Somadina made the confession that he had killed his mother and had buried her in a shallow grave, the conversation about the whereabouts of his sister Ukamaka was brought up again. And that was when it was said Somadina finally confessed that his sister Ukamaka was not actually missing and did not run away from home, that she was in fact buried somewhere around the compound in another shallow grave. He confessed to have killed his sister with reasons unknown and had buried her just the way he did to his mother, in a shallow grave. And so after exhuming his mother's body, he was forced to go to the grave where he had buried his sister to exhume her body too, which he did. However, it has been since June of 2023, nearly 7 months till this day, that this whole incident blew up. So Ukamaka had been dead and buried for over 7 months in a shallow grave. And by the time he went to dig her up, there was nothing left but bones. He held his sister's remains in a plastic bag while his mother's remains was placed next to him. Youths were so angry that they thought to beat him up and also bury him alive in a shallow grave, but thanks to the vigilantes who were around who prevented it and swiftly handed him over to the police, while his sister's remains and his mother's remains were deposited in the morgue. This incident is very shocking and thrilling, as a lot of people believe that Somadina might have just been a serial killer. Even though a lot of his target was mostly his family members, it felt as though he was in a mission. Killing his mother and killing his sister seemed like he was out to maybe get rid of anyone that stood in his way. It's not really clear how many siblings he had or how many brothers or sisters he had. It's possible he had more, but it's also possible that he was most likely going to kill them all, one by one. But a lot of people are of the opinion that it might have been the drugs that were playing a role, adding to his hot-headedness or adding to his temper or his violent nature, citing that he killed his sister in June. If he was really on a killing spree, he would most likely have killed his mother immediately after. But I guess it's just a bad timing and combination of the drugs that he takes that makes him extremely violent. This is what some people are saying. However, some people are of the opinion that he is just a killer. For him to carry out that kind of act and then go on to bury them, and even remembering where he did it, shows that he was very much aware of what he was doing and very much sane and was not under the influence. Maybe he might have been under the influence, or maybe the drugs played a role, but it seemed like with or without the drugs or without the substance he takes, he could still be capable of murder. And thank goodness his younger brother was the one who raised alarm. If not, this would not have been uncovered. It's such a very shocking, horrible situation that this had to happen. However, guys, you all let me know what you think about this. Do you think it's the drugs, or do you think he was just a natural born killer on his way to committing more of these acts? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't.